Radio.
Hello and welcome to Cryptocurrent, the only podcast to bring you beginner and advanced knowledge of cryptocurrency and blockchain, analyses of cryptocurrency markets, and discussions on growing a business within the crypto space. Stay tuned and stay cryptocurrent.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon, and I am joined today with a very special guest, all the way from the website bravenewcoin.com. Everyone, without further ado, not only is this going to be a really, really fun interview, but you're going to learn a lot. So, Aditya, if you don't mind introducing yourself, give us a little bit of background about yourself. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, cool. It's great to be here, Richard. So I am Aditya Das. I am Brave New Coin's in-house market analyst. So I run our weekly newsletter, which is a macro roundup of things happening in crypto markets. My other main role is to write project reviews and token valuation assessments. So I kind of run these like long-form pieces where I assess short-term and long-term value of token projects, near-term prospects, long-term prospects, assess fundamental and speculative factors and, try to pick winners in the market and kind of almost from a perspective of, providing data-driven analysis for retail traders to make the right decisions when they're dealing with crypto markets.
Oh, that's impressive, man. So you help people more on the side of on the trading aspect and letting what's going on in the markets and what people should be looking out for. Yeah.
I try to sometimes have sort of an investor perspective as well. So I do kind of, peel the hood back on like innovative tech and things like consensus, network activity. So yeah, sometimes the calls I make could be from as long as like 6 months to 2 years, where I'm like, if they are able to improve, for example, the UX in the next few months, then you might see them, be a part of the next big bull run. So sometimes it is from like a swing trading perspective where, so I've written about coins right before mainnet launches. But I also try to kind of paint the picture for like the big picture for these projects, what their prospects are 5 to 10 years from now even.
Right.
And where they could be like market disruptors, the mainstream potential, things like that as well.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So how did you get into this, man? Like what about the market or what about cryptocurrency? Like how did you get into cryptocurrency and blockchain? And let's just start there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I only really got into crypto in May 2018. So when I started working here, that was kind of my first exposure to crypto. So I come from a background in economics and like kind of traditional economic theory. So I graduated from doing my master's, in early 2018. And the job sort of popped up to be an analyst at a cryptocurrency firm. I've known a little bit about Bitcoin and kind of like the basic value proposition, but never looked into it too deeply. And kind of as I was sort of prepping for the interview for the job, I kind of like, this is pretty cool and this is really interesting and, there might be real value and potential. So yeah, I kind of joined at a time that markets were quiet and they've kind of been quiet ever since. So yeah, I don't know. For me, because I've never experienced a bull run, I'm just super excited when it does finally happen and when I do experience one. But yeah, I think for me, because I joined at a time like during like a bearish time when prices weren't moving as much as they have been in the past. Like I've been in it for the tech. I'm kind of like, I haven't seen that much price activity. So yeah, May 2018 is when I kind of got engaged with crypto. I knew a bit before that. I'd watched like YouTube videos and gotten like the basic like idea of how blockchains work. But yeah, it's been over the last year, just trying to accumulate as much information and yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Even with coming in May during the the bear market that it has been, as you said, you're in it for the long haul. You're in it for all the projects and all the various I mean, there's some really cool projects and different things that are going on in the crypto space that like have a lot of use cases and will have value over time as they are further developed. We are still in cryptocurrency and blockchain's infancy. This is still the beginning. And as you said, like as you're seeing a lot of these different projects and what's going on and making some of the price action happen in the market, like you must have a really all-encompassing idea of what's to come. So this should be a really, really cool peek into your brain on like how some of this is working.
And I think like one of the things that I've kind of benefited from is like the people who are like kind of giving out analysis or, making tweets from during a bear market, people are like really engaged. So like the quality of the analysts that you observe, like kind of, still around and still, performing well in the bear market, they're like, the cream rises to the top. So I've the media and like the analysis I've read, like the stuff coming out, has been great. And, I can see people who like really understand crypto and blockchain, and a lot like, because, a lot of people were like scarred from the post late 2017 dump. So like you kind of see like the weak hands being shaken off, as they say in finance. So yeah, it's been great. So
yes,
I think the people left over are in it for the tech, and I definitely consider myself part of that group and in it for the long haul.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I am doing the same. I'm very bullish, and I know it's going to be in the long run. This is going to be massive and huge. It's just a matter of time. But to kind of speak to your point of, you've been in this since last May, almost a year now during the bear market, and you've been able to do a ton of analysis with Brave New Coin. Tell us a little bit about your experience with working with the company and just diving deep into, cryptocurrency and everything that you've been able to learn through this process.
Yeah, it's been really interesting because, our core business solution is market data provision. So, collecting data from exchanges, kind of trying to figure out and, using forensics to decide like, what's good volume, what's a fair price of crypto assets, kind of removing some of the noise from exchanges. Because, the thing with, crypto is it's so accessible and, there's so many platforms internationally where people can buy and sell cryptocurrency. It's just such a noisy marketplace. So in that sense, being an analyst, I've had like amazing resources and tools for cleaning market data and having good, crypto information of being available to me. So that's been really beneficial for me. So it's been like, so for example, like I kind of just by working here, I can immediately like identify like good exchanges or what we refer to as golden exchanges, like the Bitrexes versus, you see reported volumes in a lot of places that are just like, just unreal, and it makes you think the market's bigger than it is, or the trading activity is just ridiculous when it's not really, if you remove like the echo chamber fake volume. So I've learned a lot from that sense, from like a market data perspective, because that's like our core business solution. So it's been like a great place to kind of have like a rational idea of the way crypto markets work. The other cool thing is like our CEO and some of our like long-term employees have been involved, like our OGs, and have been involved since like, 2011, 2013. And, they've been through a bunch of market cycles. So even though I joined kind of during a period of bearishness, there was a lot of like, rational heads and people I could talk to, and, people who have been through like panic and dumps. And so that in that sense, keeping afloat and having like a level-headed view of the market has, being able to interact with people who have been around crypto for a long time has been, super great.
No doubt. And, one of the things that I know that you're very passionate about is like finding ways to look into, to find the alpha, which is the above market average returns. Would you mind discussing some of the stuff on your radar and techniques that you use for this sort of analysis?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the broad things I do is I look at like trends and what are people talking about and what do people think is like specific growth areas within crypto. So for example, around the time I joined in April and May, a big thing was mainnet launches and alternative consensus algorithms. So the people who made like bets on projects like EOS and TRX probably did really well in like, Q2 2018. because those prices had, had like huge gains in like April and May, because there was a lot of like hype and speculation, and people were like really looking closely at mainnet releases and whether these like Ethereum killers could provide like an efficient alternative or like a scalable alternative or an alternative with like better throughput. So I kind of look at like what are people talking about and tech trends that they believe like specifically like stand out amongst other players in crypto. So for example, right now, a project like Augur, decentralized prediction markets, is something a lot of people have their eye on because it's got so much potential. Other things that, on-chain governance, we've seen like Tezos do really well in the last few months because, this idea that you can have like formalized governance and fork resistance governance. And, people have seen what has happened before with like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum Classic. So there's certain things or certain token projects that are solving specific solutions that I look at. So it's always like those kind of like trends within crypto where people are like, oh my God, these guys are solving like liquidity issues on Ethereum. So like things like that are, what I tend to keep an eye on.
No doubt. And it's constantly changing, just like you said. And so if you can find any leg up on, when you go to the basic principles of trading, you have things that are going on in the market, like your conditions that will drive an issue, and then you'll have your technical side, which is then the trading side that reacts to an event. And with you trying to find the alpha, the thing that happens that then will make technical trading things happen in response, I think it's extremely powerful. And it's really cool that you have been looking at this, almost a year now, and have been able to find some pretty cool indicators of what you could predictably expect to happen next.
Yeah. And another thing that's been really useful since I've joined is fundamental like analysis of cryptos come leaps and bounds. So there's a few guys like Nick Carter and Chris Bernetsky that have pushed for like observing like network activity. So things like on-chain volume and number of active addresses. And what you're kind of seeing now with crypto projects is if they make promises, you can kind of observe. And, one of the best things about crypto is it's all on a ledger. It's all observable. You can see every transaction. You can see every user. It's all there. So as like an economist or like a data guy, if a token project makes a promise or, is trying to hype themselves up, you can actually like kind of like look behind the hood and observe network activity and, make assessments yourself. And, what does the data tell you?
Oh, absolutely. And that's so strong. And the other part of it too is when you look at the traders that are in this, they're always trying to look for the leg up. They're always trying to find the alpha. They're always trying to find the formulas and everything with it. And since you're constantly finding new areas and finding little hints and tricks like that, and then being able to report it through Brave New Coin, I think it's really, you're positioning yourself in a very unique spot to where you're really getting a holistic view of like what is truly driving the market. So, that's really awesome, man. But with that being said, you get to see all kinds of projects that are being worked on, and there's a lot that's going on right now in the space, even throughout this bear market. But like, what is one crypto project that has you extremely excited?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I was thinking about this, and there's a few. So kind of how I want to start this is that one thing that I'm looking and I find really interesting is, a lot of people talk about, towards the end of the bear market, you see building. So a lot of the projects that made big promises during like ICO raises are kind of reaching a point where they kind of have to deliver like a first version of their solution or a first version of their product. So those are the kind of projects that I'm really interested in. One that I think I have an eye on is, again, they're going back to on-chain governance, is, Tezos has done really well. Its prices, the market's really reacted well to its first self-amendment protocol. Another on-chain governance project that's, going to have its first big decision made on the network by its community is Decred. So this year, you're probably going to see it make like a big on-chain decision using like a coded-in voting system. And if it's successful, then even if, the solution doesn't work out the way it's meant to, just showing that you can have like democracy by code, I think the market will probably assess that really well and appreciate that. So I see Decred around the times, and it's going to have a few big on-chain decisions made this year. I think that is a token that, medium-term perspectives for the rest of the year, I have my eyes on. So yeah, Decred would be one, just because I think on-chain governance and the problems we've historically, like as a community in crypto, we've had with just bad governance and just token disputes and project disputes and, mudslinging, I think, and it also has like a great dev community and, a great community in terms of, they seem to get along really well. It's very progressive, quite they just get along. And yeah, Decred is one that I have my eye on.
No doubt. And thanks for the heads up. That was a really good explanation.
But again, I put this at the end of, this is not investment advice.
Yes, of course. The disclaimer, I put that on all the podcasts, all the shows. None of this is financial advice. This are our opinions, and people can do what they want with them.
Another thing that I'd just like to say on that topic is, I think a lot of crypto has this problem with like scope creep, where they overpromise and underdeliver. So I kind of like projects that have like a really simple value proposition. So I think for example, like BNB, which is simple, easy to use, immediately like has like something that you can use it for immediate utility. So yeah, I like projects that are like under promise, over deliver. So things that keep it simple. So the whole idea of like keep it simple, stupid. So anything that's just like straightforward and easy to understand, and it's actually like releasing something that's like usable in whatever form is something that I'm a fan of.
Definitely. Just like you said, last year, 2018, with the giant bubble that kind of happened, you had all these ICOs that come out that honestly, you go from having a couple hundred coins on CoinMarketCap to almost 2,000 and only close to 100 to almost 200 have an actual working product. Like that's a sign of like what's to come,
Yeah, and like I also think with that is like it decreases like the amount that like people are more quick to sell if they can't use their tokens. Even if you give somebody like a really simple use case, or like you can move, I don't know, you can just use it for some sort of exchange, or you have to create like a reason for people not to sell it. And if there isn't a product, then people are just going to dump it. After a certain point, they're just going to take their profits because there's no reason to hold on to your token otherwise.
Oh, definitely. So beyond those crypto projects that have you pretty excited, what are some things that are going on in the space, whether it be later this year or just next 3 to 5 years? What is on the horizon that you think people should be on the lookout for?
Okay, so one thing that I am interested in is to see how the dApp ecosystem works and how that plays out. So we saw like kind of in early 2018 and late 2017, CryptoKitties having 10,000 users that crashed Ethereum. I don't think that can ever happen again. So I'm looking for like, these platform blockchains, which are, I think that's kind of crypto's like big use case and its way to go mainstream. It's maybe not so much like a payment platform, but through smart contracts and through like dApps and, having, these crazy use cases where you can use your crypto to, on a bunch of different things. So I think scalability on blockchains, and for Ethereum, like, and these dApp platforms, so scalable blockchains. So I'm really looking for dApps to like, get bigger and, more efficient, and also have better liquidity. So, liquidity protocol solutions like what Loom, what the Kyber network is doing and things like that. So I'm just looking for the whole like crypto user experience and the whole crypto onboarding experience to get like much better. I think UX and things like that will come along in like leaps and bounds in the next year and a half. You're going to like see people like using MetaMask way more. One thing that we're always seeing with crypto is decentralized finance. People have already seen ways to get interest on their crypto holdings, leverage markets, crypto derivatives. So I just think that people are like, just crypto is going to have way more utility and way more things to do with your tokens, and it's just the onboarding experience and the user experience is just going to improve over the next year and a half. Absolutely.
I mean, as new technology is made, like the mass adoption, to get to mass adoption, needs to be made simpler, and it needs to be made in a way that anyone can pick up and use. We're not quite there. And so people are setting up that groundwork and that legwork. And as more and more of these products are getting more and more refined, I agree with you that I think we are going to get there. It's just going to be another early mover, early adopter grind right now. But as it tips over into the widely adopted, we're going to see way more people starting to pick this up because it's just so practical in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I think one thing that's been, I really like is that people are already talking about layer 2 solutions and, just immediately things like the Lightning Network makes the crypto experience more seamless. We're almost there where payments can become instant, and some of the classic issues that, people talked about why crypto could fail are close to being solved. And adoption, I think, is bound to happen. You can see all the right signs, all the right infrastructure being built. But again, adoption takes time. So I don't have huge expectations for, suddenly we're going to see a mass increase in users and network effects in crypto. But I think the infrastructure is definitely on its way. So long to medium term, I think, accessing the mainstream and accessing, even traders, people who've accumulated tokens will have a way to use them and, have actual use cases. And
Oh, absolutely. And along those lines, man, first, we're getting towards the end of the podcast, and I appreciate you, spending time and dropping so much valuable knowledge and just on your experiences and everything that you're working on. So thank you for that. But I always like to ask my speakers, what's the final thought that you want to leave with the listeners? So what you got for us today?
I would say the one thing, and this is kind of, a broken record thing to say, is do your own research. Read multiple sources, don't believe the hype. When you look under the hood, look at block explorers, look at transaction activity. Don't, just read headlines. I think, just in general as people, even probably even more so within crypto, we're very quick to use things like Twitter or Telegram groups or things like Discord, and you read a single post and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm going to buy this. It's just, I think, important for people to really, look at fewer projects, but look at those projects in detail. Really think about, I would say that don't believe the hype. Take your time and look at projects from multiple different angles. Look at, partnerships, look at transaction activity, look at technicals, kind of have a full rounded picture of, specific assets and the market in general when, deciding, if you want to get involved in crypto or if you're going to make a swing trade. Just, consider multiple factors, I would say.
No doubt. And I really, really think that's great advice to end on. Yeah. People shouldn't just lean on someone else's advice. Do your own research.
I mean, I'm guilty of it at times. There's always, FOMO is a thing. You hear, as you see a trader that, a big trader on crypto, making a call for a swing trade, and you just want to jump in because if you don't move now, then you might miss out on it. But I always think it's, worth taking your time and being rational when you make a decision with your money. So
no doubt. Well, Aditya, thank you so much for being
a pleasure.
And
I really enjoyed it.
It was a really enjoyable conversation, and you left some really, really good, valuable tidbits on there and stuff for people to really think through. So I appreciate you joining us on the show today.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. And if you ever want to have me again, I'm always here. So
no doubt. What are some different ways people can connect with you?
So Twitter, my Twitter handle is DAS Crypto for You. So that's DAS Crypto for You, all words, no numbers. The best place to read my stuff is on the website. That's bravenewcoin.com. I generally do about 3 articles a week. I've got a newsletter. Do you have links on the bottom that I can, share?
Oh, absolutely. Everything that you're saying, I'm going to add to the bottom too, but this is just for people listening,
if you want to contact me, Twitter is probably the best place. If you have specific questions about anything I've talked about on the podcast or, stuff about fundamental analysis techniques or anything technical. Read my stuff on bravenewcoin.com.
Well, perfect. Well, Aditya, thanks again, and we appreciate you. And man, keep killing it. No problem. Everyone, stay cryptocurrent.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to another episode of Cryptocurrent. For more information on this episode and all of our episodes, please visit us at www.crypto-current.co. Stay up to date with the latest news in cryptocurrency by signing up for our newsletter. You will receive a daily email Monday through Sunday that is personalized and curated content specific to you and your interest, powered by artificial intelligence.
This has been another episode of Cryptocurrent, bringing you one step closer to becoming a crypto and blockchain aficionado. We look forward to giving you the latest in crypto news and analyses next week. Stay cryptocurrent.
Please use available exits now.